In the past couple hours, there was some news that came out about the salary cap for 2025 in the NFL. And there were some estimations beforehand of what it could get to. But now we have some official news from the NFL regarding the salary cap. So here it is from Ari Meirov on X. He says, the NFL informed teams today that the 2025 salary cap will be roughly $277.5 million to $281.5 million per at Dan Graziano, ESPN. That's an increase of $22.1 million to $26.1 million from last year and beats what most executives were anticipating. So basically, the salary cap is much higher than people thought it would be. Every year, you expect there to be, incremental jumps, but now for every single team, they have more money to work with when it comes to free agency, trades, whoever they want to spend money on and have guys, against their cap. And so when we look at the Packers specifically, a lot of the numbers I share on here come from overthecap.com. And before this news came out, Over the Cap had been predicting a $272.5 million cap. And now with the news coming out, it's between 277.5 to 281.5, meaning minimum is $5 million more than Over the Cap had been predicting. So before these new numbers came out, according to Over the Cap, the Packers had $42.14 million of cap space, which is pretty good for the Packers. And now if we just look at the minimum number at 277.5, that now pushes the Packers to $47.14 million of cap space. If it's the higher end at 281.5, that would make the Packers have $51.4 million of cap space. So either way, the Packers have more cap space than they did before this news came out. And obviously for every single NFL team, they now have more money to work with. And I think for the Packers, when we look at the cap space they have this season, it's much more than it had been in years past. And I remember early back in 2021, 2022, it felt like every offseason the Packers were in a huge hole in the salary cap with their salary cap space. And lots of times they were over the cap and had to restructure contracts just to get under it. A lot of that time was when, Aaron Rodgers was still here. They were pushing a lot of, players' contracts farther back and farther back. So eventually, the dead cap hits were starting to come up on lots of these different contracts. But now, with Rodgers gone, with his cap, his dead cap hit from in the past couple of years gone, the Packers have a lot more room to make a lot of different moves, and they're in a much better space, as I said, than they have been in years past. And so the Packers definitely have the space to make a lot of moves. The question is, what kind of moves do they want to make? And now they have between 5 to 10 million more than at least Over the Cap predicted, the NFL would have in regards to the cap space. So every single GM, every single NFL owner has to be pretty excited about this news. Also the players, because now you would assume that as teams bid for guys in the free agent markets, I would assume that some of these guys will make more money because if teams have more money to spend, they're probably willing to, invest a little bit more if they want to secure the specific free agent they want. So the NFL continues to, increase their revenue year after year. And I'm pretty sure outside of 2020, besides that year, pretty much every single year, the cap has jumped a huge amount. So interesting news. If you want more NFL Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.